Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. For today's review, we are taking a bite out of Jurassic World Dominion, now out in theaters. It's been a bit of a controversial movie. There's mixed reviews out. I know Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 30% score on it. But we're going to talk about all things good and bad. Akram, why don't you start us off with your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of disappointed with it. I thought I wasn't a big fan of Fallen Kingdom, and so when I came into seeing this, I thought that it was a little strange how the humans and the dinosaurs kind of interacted. I thought there would be even more turmoil, and we didn't get much of that. I would have liked to see some more B-roll. Like, I would rather see like a movie filled with like just dinosaurs and humans trying to interact than this. I didn't care much for the characters, but we also get some lovely returns, and that was great to see, bringing the nostalgic vibe back. I really appreciate that. But it came like towards the end, at least. It was very, at least in my opinion, a lot of like cliche themes going on there. A lot of like formulaic things that I did not want to see happen in this film. But I thought it was great though. Like the CGI, I think that was like the most notable highlight. I'm glad to see, it was the pinnacle of CGI back then, and this film was really cool to see that as well. So what did you think about the movie?
I didn't hate it. I mean, to quote Ian Malcolm, I know a lot of people are saying, "What a big pile of shit!" No, but there were some moments I liked. I think a lot of the dialogue for me fell flat. It just felt like it was like really weird, like hearing like certain people like talk. The CGI was okay. I mean, I still miss seeing like the old, uh, animatronic dinosaurs. I think that's really where the magic was. But I don't know. I think it's not the weakest of the new trilogy, I would say. I still love the first Jurassic World movie. Fallen Kingdom, I didn't really care for too much. It just felt like a rehash, honestly. Um, for this one, I don't know. I had to suspend my disbelief at a lot of moments in the film. Just because, like, every time, like, fucking, like, Chris Pratt did the fucking, like, the hand thing, like, he's doing with it, like, not just with Blue now, he's doing with every fucking dinosaur now, and apparently, like, it's a Jedi mind trick or some
Oh my
shit.
god, he
Like,
talks to them. He says like, I'm gonna bring it back or something. Oh
it's
my
like
god.
he's like fucking like Caesar Milan with like every dinosaur now.
Yeah, he goes,
Like,
shh,
yeah,
shh.
shh. You see this? You see this?
Yeah.
No, but I don't know. It was weird. It's like definitely felt like fan service bringing back the old cast, and in a way, it was a lot. They did it a lot better for me than they did it in Star Wars.
Mm,
Bringing like the old cast and the new cast together. I don't know. It's just like I like that. They had more of a relevant role
mm,
than just like showing up as like a cameo, because they did that with Dr. Malcolm in the last I think the last two movies, where he showed up and he just gave a couple lines, but they have a more prominent role in this series, and it's great to see Sam Neill and all the other old characters back. I think there's I love the moment where like Ellie is like she pets the triceratops. That was such like a cute.
mm.
I almost cried during that moment actually. But that's the thing. It's fan service, right? The plot was kind of stupid in my opinion. It just felt like another. It just felt like another draft. Like it's so formulaic. That's the thing that's the problem with this franchise. It's like it's nobody learns their lesson.
Yep.
Like, and you had a great point you were mentioning earlier how you would have constructed this plot, like having like the dinosaurs completely take over. Like in this movie, that's why I had to suspend my disbelief, because they're coexisting. The dinosaurs cause a lot of problems for people, but it's like, why doesn't the army just step in and like fucking like wipe them out or some shit? But there is like that debate where it's like, what? How do we do we leave the dinosaurs defend for themselves, or do we step in? I would have like. I thought it would have been interesting if they did it like handle it like fucking like Tiger King or some shit. Like there's like people trying to, well, they were kind of like weaponizing dinosaurs in a way, but it's like, how do humans find a way to survive? Because now it's like dinosaurs living among us. It's like we're no longer the dominant species, right? Um, but I didn't really care too much for, what was it, the main girl, Maisie?
Hmm.
It,
Oh
it
yeah.
just feels like a trope now, where it's like every fucking movie has to have like some young person that has like unimaginable potential where they have to unlock or some shit. Like, she's basically like fucking Omega from Clone Wars.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. She just felt like, I don't know. She's basically a clone of this scientist from the original Jurassic Park that we're supposed to know or care about, which I didn't really like care much to it because like we never saw this person from the original movie. So like, why the hell do I care about it? Like they said, like her genes like unlock like the secrets to, like cancer or some shit. But it's like, why couldn't you do that with a dinosaur or some shit? You know?
Right.
But I don't know. I really had to like suspend my disbelief. But what else did you think about? How do you think this holds up as like the closing chapter for this franchise?
I think it was pretty weak. I think it was like just like a candlelight, just dimming slowly, and it ended okay. The whole thing was like live side by side with dinosaurs, and they kind of like went. The dinosaurs kind of left like in different lands and stuff at the end, and it was okay. It's like it kind of shows like a hopeful message. Um, but I honestly wouldn't have done it like this. I think it probably was, to me at least, the weakest of the new trilogy. I think the best, honestly, was Jurassic World, just the
Jurassic
first
World
one.
was definitely, yeah.
Yeah, with this one, and again, I don't really care that much for the characters, and so you brought the original characters back, and that's fine. But I feel like that was just the point of bringing them back. Um, and then the whole thing with like the Doomsday thing, it's like the humans always ruin like the best parts of like certain movies, like Godzilla, like this movie. You want to see more interactions with dinosaurs, not just like you're trying to fight this corporation, and it keeps going back to the same thing each time and each time again. So honestly, I wasn't a big fan of this movie. As I would have hoped I would have been. Yeah,
And
I
yeah, the
didn't.
thing it's like you said, like some of the characters, like I don't know, I didn't really care too much for like the what was it, the Ramsey, whatever his name was,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
the intern guy. He
Right.
just like he's just there to help them,
I love the
whatever.
actor though. I loved him. I
Yeah,
loved him
I
in
like the actor. I
yeah,
didn't care much for the character, and
yeah,
the villain, the Lewis dude, the fucking like Steve Jobs
yeah. I
character,
know.
like he was such a fucking idiot. I'm so glad they killed him off because I don't know. He was just a fucking like idiot. He was like, it's like a professor running a nuclear reactor. That's that's his character. I shit you not. He does not have any idea how the fuck to run a sanctuary for dinosaurs. I'm sorry. Like he probably be good at like fucking like Apple or some like
Right.
pharmaceutical company,
Yeah, yeah.
but he did not know what the fuck he was doing. And then like they also had like the dinosaur villain. It was like the Giganotosaurus, which is kind of like thrown in there as like somebody the T Rex has to fight. They always like make like the T
Again,
Rex fight somebody at
let
the
them
end.
fight. I know.
I feel like the whole plot is just like a like a preliminary like fight, and then we see like the T Rex fight somebody at the end.
Exactly.
But it just felt like so forced that I really didn't. Well, they threw in that like the other dinosaur with like the claws and shit, like the
Mm.
I say like the Wolverinosaurus or some
Hmm.
shit. um, but yeah, there was so many stupid moments for me like there was like the fight scene with Claire and she's fighting that one chick and like she's like throwing the knife and like she misses like every time. And then look the fucking chase scene with the I don't know what they were called, the raptors.
Mm.
Um I don't know. There was like I found it really hard to believe that they could escape them because they were trained to kill. They're like fucking military weapons at this point, and they're supposed to be like fast as fuck. But they just managed to somehow like evade them like at every like turn. I found that really like stupid in my opinion, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It had some fun moments. For me, I think definitely I think having the old cast lightened it a little bit. I like seeing like where they were in this period because we haven't seen them since maybe like Jurassic Park 3 or some shit. So I like to see like at least like like Dr. Grant is still doing his paleontology thing, and then Dr. Sadler is like I like that she's like trying to work with like young people to you know train the next generation of what is it, paleobotany or something.
Mhm.
And then I don't know, Dr. Malcolm just felt like his character from Apartments.com commercials. It's like, I don't know, but it was cool. It was cool. It was great to see the like some of the dialogue just felt like a little cheesy, like the he slid on my DMs or whatever.
I
Like
know.
it was so forced. It was so
Okay,
corny. And then
boomer.
like the dialogue with like Lewis, like I feel like that character didn't like read his lines and he was just trying to like fucking like say whatever came to mind. I don't know. I don't know. But do you think like they'll ever reboot this franchise? after
I
this movie?
I think that sometimes franchises are a curse, especially like some people want to see them live on and life finds a way. But reboot, I'm not sure. That has to be like years from now. And remake as well. Now, if they do like a prequel, I could possibly see like for Jurassic Park, like them getting, making the first dinosaur and trying to get the park together. I could see something like that, or perhaps a series. But like a sequel with the same characters, no. And also, if you like again, like you were mentioning earlier, my plan would have just been like there's no way that this wouldn't have been like an apocalypse level event if the dinosaurs came back. That's a different lifetime. The way how they interact with different animals, right, wouldn't be the same as they would like now. Now they'll see us as like food, right? Like if you're petting a dinosaur, if a fucking goat would like hit me as hard as hell and like break something, imagine what a dinosaur would do, like even if it's a baby. I don't see it like continuing, to be honest. I wouldn't want it like I'm a little naive too. Like I kind of want to see like some more like dinosaurs. We never had like something like
Mhm.
this before, so I
That's
would
one
have
thing I
liked
will
it.
give this movie. It did have a lot of new dinosaurs, which I kind of like because we were
Yeah,
kind of like stuck with just okay, it's the T Rex and the Velociraptor, right?
right.
That's basically like as much variety as we get, right? But I
Hmm.
did like seeing like some of the new dinosaurs, like actually they had like the one Velociraptor that was like the purebred, so it
Hmm.
had like feathers and shit. So it was more like scientifically accurate.
That was
But then it
cool. Yeah.
confused me too because like how did they fill in the gene gaps? Because they said in the first movie like a lot of the DNA was missing links, and they had to fill it with different animals.
Right.
So that confused me, but
Oh yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Actually. Yeah.
yeah. So that confused me. But were there any characters that like stood out to you, like in this
I,
movie?
Honestly, it's always a joy to see a lot of people. He's getting a lot of flame right now, but I love seeing Chris Pratt and just like his journey through these movies, even if he's kind of like the same thing, different smell. And also the original cast members. Jeff Goldblum, man, he always has a special place in my heart, no matter where he is. So I always love to see him. Bryce like is getting a lot of like spotlight this year, especially with like her directorial debuts. I'm like wondering, was she pregnant too? Because she was like covering herself so many times during this whole movie. Like you didn't notice that? I
It
think we
wouldn't
were
have
talking
surprised
earlier.
me.
Yeah, 'cause I think she was pregnant because like she kept on covering her belly like nonstop.
Hmm.
But honestly, that was it for me. I didn't care too much about like the whole like formulaic thing with the kid at all.
Yeah.
Unless she like added something like to the world.
Hmm.
But no, it's just trying to protect her for some odd reason. Um,
I
Honestly, I
like.
just yeah.
Well, how did you feel like with Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler, like their little dynamic chemistry?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Were they married like back then or some shit like that? And then they split up because I was thinking they wanted to do something. They can bring them back
I think
somehow.
they were kind of a thing in the first movie, and then they separated, and then
Yeah,
Dr. Sadler got married and she had kids.
right.
And she had like a husband, but I guess in this movie she broke up with him or
That
something.
was weird. There was no explanation about that. I'm like wondering,
Yeah.
like, will they like if they wanted to expand upon these two and kind of
Hmm.
lead the next generation of because again, it's all about it's a generational thing too. Like franchises, like how do you introduce more people? MCU obviously is doing this now with a younger audience and younger cast members. Like, how are they gonna introduce that? Um, I think that they'll probably be an important component later on. I can't see
It's-
Chris Pratt's character like moving forward though. I don't
yeah,
know
I
why
think
you
he's
would.
gonna be done after this one.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's so funny. Dr. Grant felt like a fucking like Indiana Jones character
Yeah.
in this movie. There's literally a scene where like he drops his hat and Dr. Sadler is like, "Forget the hat,"
Yeah.
like down to how he like even like held a torch in the cave scene. It was so funny. But
Right.
yeah, like you said, he's teaching the next generation, which I think
Mhm.
is really interesting because like they kind of have to pass the torch down right to the next. And I think that one thing I do love about the older characters, they lived in the moment. Uh, because the dinosaurs, the genetically made dinosaurs anyway, they were just kind of like theme park attractions, right? But
Mhm.
paleontology is like really where all the science happens, right? And then like you have like all these like big corporations trying to live in the past, right? Trying to take the fun parts of the past and make it, try to brand it, right? But that's not, you have to respect the past, right? You have to let it, live on, and then you have to evolve, right? I think that's the main thing. But I don't know. for the most part, I didn't really care much for this movie. It was
Yeah.
just more like a popcorn movie.
Right.
At least Doctor Wu got like a fucking redemption arc. I thought that was
That
fun.
was cool. Yeah, yeah, that was pretty cool. He has long hair now too. It's like that was
I know,
pretty
didn't he have
cool.
like gray hair in like the first movie? Now he has like a full head of like hair.
Genetically modified hair.
Yeah.
He's a clone all this time.
That's why he was doing all this research so he could find out how to grow his hair back.
He's like Halsey from Halo.
He makes like a clone of himself to
Exactly. I mean, that was cool. Like again, like it's cool to see some characters like have redemption. That was pretty cool.
Mhm.
I'm glad to see.
And Blue got her baby back at least.
I thought she was gonna die. I really thought that Blue was gonna die. I'm glad
That
to
would
see
have been
she
an
didn't.
awkward conversation coming home and then you
Bro.
have to tell Blue like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we couldn't see."
I don't doubt that did
And then he
happen.
eats
Like
his face off.
no, he would so like have a full on conversation about what happened or something. I don't doubt it whatsoever. They would have done that. Like
That's what I say. I had to suspend my disbelief sometimes because, like, even Dr. Malcolm said, like, "Oh, you made a promise to a dinosaur." Like,
right,
it was
exactly.
like you mean tell me like just doing this doesn't get you eaten? Like and it was so funny because Dr. Grant and Maisie, they did like this weird like they were I shit you not they did at the same time like it was a fucking like Jedi mind trick or some shit.
Right.
And then I don't know. It was I had to take like if I had to make a drinking game of this, I'd take a shot every time they did the hand thing.
Yeah.
Just 'cause it was so stupid, but
Oh my gosh. So how
makes
would you
my
rate
head hurt.
this movie?
I think IGN gave it a fair rating, to be honest with you. And I don't even like IGN, but I think 6 out of 10 for me. How would you rate it?
Yeah, probably like a 5 out of 10. I give
Yeah.
it like 50-50. Yeah. I get what they were trying to set up and like the themes behind it, but I think the way it was done, I'm not a big fan of like how they did it. And especially to
Mhm.
end the whole thing too. This was actually like really an important movie too. Because it's supposed to be the end apparently of a franchise, or at least the Jurassic World franchise. So again, we don't know if there's there's all obviously an animated show that he kind of like showed, like it's on Netflix actually, you can watch it now. Like
For, like, kids
dinosaurs
or
running
something, I
amok.
forget.
Yeah. And they do a great job like showing like little trailers and stuff. Like there's a lot of like
Mhm.
little shorts that the studio has made, filling in like certain gaps and whatnot.
I feel like they're really gonna make a spin-off of this with like some of the younger characters, like what's his name? Justice Smith's character and that
Oh yeah.
pilot lady.
Oh yeah. That she was
I
like a
feel like
pirate or
she's gonna have
something.
like
Yeah.
some spin-off series or movie where like she's like smuggling dinosaurs or some shit. I don't know.
I wouldn't like that.
They always find a way to like milk the franchise. It's gonna be like we were joking earlier. It's like gonna be like fucking like what Jurassic Universe next the
Right,
next movie,
exactly.
Jurassic Galaxy or some shit.
Dinosaurs in space,
Oh my
3D.
Please spare me.
I beg of you.
But overall, it was an okay movie, guys. I'm not gonna fucking like lie and tell you like, oh, it was really good. But you can watch it for yourselves. You probably have conflicting opinions. I know for the younger audiences, they might warm up to it. Because who doesn't love dinosaurs as a kid, right? But I still think Jurassic World, the first one of this trilogy, was the best one of the series.
Agreed.
But if you stuck to the end of this review, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate your patronage as always. If you haven't checked out our other review videos, they're out now. We're still reviewing The Boys, Obi-Wan, and Miss Marvel. And we have a lot of other great content on the way. But also, if you're not following us on YouTube, please subscribe. We also have an Instagram page, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify also. So we're on a number of platforms. You guys can check us out. But again, thank you so much. And thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys.